Hi, and welcome back. For Vision and Learning Month, let's talk about a case of open neglect. This is a somewhat serious topic that needs to be addressed, so thanks for watching. But before we begin, it's just a quick reminder that the goal of visionmechanic.net and the Vision Mechanic YouTube channel is to provide science-based, clinically relevant resources about human vision for humans. That is, all humans, with maybe a small bias towards those who work with children. This series, highlighting International Vision and Learning Month, August, is more focused on those humans who are in formal learning programs, most notably younger humans. If you yourself are a learner, or if you teach them, guide them, care for them, or provide therapy for them, then this series will be of interest to you also. Okay, so let's get back to that case of neglect. In 2007, the government of Alberta introduced a mandatory seatbelt law. This was not openly or warmly received by everyone. We hate to be told what to do in Alberta, even if it means it keeps us from killing ourselves. Nowadays, after not too many years, it seems a critical error in judgment to allow children, or indeed anyone, to take a high-speed ride in a sea of 2-ton vehicles without some sort of restraint to prevent unneeded death and injury. Even though most people avoid accidents during the day, the law is designed to protect against unforeseen cases and to protect children who stand to lose the most over a lifetime. The law requires parents ensure kids wear belts, and if they don't, they pay a fine. The law most definitely does not leave the decision to kids. You will never hear a parent ask their 6-year-old, "Hey Billy, do you feel like wearing your seatbelt today?" When it comes to child vision in the classroom, what we do here is, "Hey Billy, can you see that over there?" And this is one of the standard tests of a child's sight in southern Alberta. Indeed, across Alberta. It's about as ridiculous as saying, "Hey Billy, are you diabetic?" This is a form of vision blindness, a condition that a lot of us share, and it's causing untold damage through child neglect. To this day, we still insist on children self-identifying for vision-related concerns. As I said, this is neglect, plain and simple, and it needs to stop. The reason it persists is this overall blindness to vision that afflicts most professional programs related to health and child development. It doesn't take a vision scientist to recognize that if a person is affected by visual impediments, much of life can be out of reach, from education to work opportunities. It is not so widely known or obvious that visual difficulties can also lead to some common medical concerns like headache, dizziness, double vision, and a variety of child behavior concerns, including trouble in school. Every year in Alberta, children and adults alike are sent for additional psychological assessments and other medical imaging because things don't add up. I personally have seen too many cases of families that have been told Billy has a learning or reading disability, or ADHD, and that Billy needs meds. But nobody could tell me if Billy was nearsighted or farsighted, or if his eyes were out of alignment. Alberta currently has no requirement for mandatory vision exams for children, and yet we all pay the price for ignoring the problem. Vision concerns are often attributed to underprivileged people in far-off lands, that is, people without access to essential care. The fact is, from 1/6 to 1/3 of children in our own publicly funded schools are seriously affected by visual impediments. Especially so, I found, on First Nations reserves, and most of these go undetected, untreated, and in most cases, kids get pushed along with school remarks of slow or learning disability or reading disability. I've seen cases so extreme the child was labeled on the spectrum or with other psychiatric disorders requiring multiple medications. It's always rewarding when you can see a child's life change around once you give them the proper tires for the bike race. Alberta does not mandate assessment and loses. In 2000, the Kentucky Preschool Exam Law, House Bill 706, was enacted to address high rates of vision problems severely limiting young Kentuckians and their ability to learn and succeed in school. One goal of the law was to ensure children had no significant physical or sensory impediments that would prevent them from succeeding. The bill's proponents recognize that not only do many children struggle with easily corrected obstacles to learning, but that some populations, such as Native Americans and Hispanics, are much more disadvantaged this way than other ethnicities. By 2005, there were already measurable and significant rises in reading scores. The statistics in Kentucky's experience do not reflect the increases in productivity from the treated children over their lifetime, nor do they describe the savings to health and education authorities due to prevention of apparent learning and health concerns caused by difficult vision. It is also true that proper vision management can improve performance in children who are otherwise fine. They know how to play hockey, they just have to play with dull skates. In Alberta, few schools properly manage children's vision needs prior to subjecting them to 12 years of intensive e-learning and standardized testing. For some children, this neglect amounts to abuse, and it's insufficient for school or government officials to hide behind their assigned duties or contract limitations and point elsewhere for the blame. I'll go further and say it's willful neglect to say this is not a serious problem, needing urgent attention. It is a parent's responsibility to ensure they are aware of any vision needs the child might have, and this requires they see a professional for assessment. The schools, for their part, have an important role to play in ensuring high capture rates for vision exams, to educate parents, and to facilitate the process. Sadly, most schools in Alberta and across Canada are oblivious to the need, so it's really the Wild West, or a crapshoot, as to whether an affected child succeeds or not. Children are, effectively, learning without seatbelts. Our Aboriginal brothers and sisters suffer more for it. It's worth noting that while we find greater incidence of basic refractive errors in prisons, we also find a gross overrepresentation of Aboriginal Canadians in those same prisons. Don't wait for your child to tell you, or a teacher to identify a need. And don't wait for the government or school divisions to tell you your child needs a vision assessment. They all do, without exception. That also means no psychological testing or standardized testing until a child's vision is assessed. There is no other way of identifying, ruling out, and managing vision-related concerns with health, behavior, and school. Anything else is neglect or abuse. In conclusion, today's lesson is, in this case, the government is showing all the clinical signs of blindness when it comes to child vision. This willful blindness amounts to neglect when so many children could be helped so easily. Don't even think about it. Don't wait for the government to tell you to get your child's vision assessed. Just go and get it done. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel to receive notifications of new videos as we release them. Thanks for watching.